Welcome to another episode of ToyShopFab, and on this video, we're turning my 1959 GMC pickup truck into a convertible. Yep, that's right. We're cutting the roof off this old truck. What do you guys think? No, we're not making a convertible. That's just silly. But we are cutting the roof off this truck. And for those of you that have been following with me for a little while know that, well, a little over a year ago, we had a tornado come through this property, bringing a really big tree from the neighbor's yard into contact with my carport, crushing the roof of this thing. Now, if you've seen the video, you would have seen that this here was almost touching the dash. I have managed to kick most of it out, got a lot of the big dents. There's still some work that could be done up there out, and got our doors and everything to line, well, about as well as a 1959 GMC pickup truck would align. But, you know, and given a few more hours, I could probably get this thing at least close enough to throw a couple gallons of mud on the top there, smooth it out. No one's gonna know. Put a headliner in it, you'd never know. But in the middle of that video and pushing this roof out, I discovered there's a lot of rot in between the roof skin and inner structure of this guy here. And I made the decision at that point to just go ahead and get new sheet metal. So I have had it. I've been tripping over it for quite some time in the back corner of the shop. But you guys know life gets in the way a little bit. Things, you make, plans don't always go to plans. So, but we're going to get started on now. The only way for me to get this done is to just jump in and, well, yes, cut the roof off this thing. So, let me show you what we got right now. Here's the top of our original roof. You see I still got some nails in there where I was pulling the big crease out, and it was coming out pretty well. You can see it had buckled this guy right here. You see it split the roof skin from the inner structure, and if you look down, there's a lot of inconsistency in that pinch weld showing rust in between each one of those panels. And if you look on the inside of here, you'll see that most of my inner structure is still pretty dented because I didn't really work on that at all. So, but all that is getting replaced. Now, if I could give you any kind of advice or some kind of direction in doing this, make sure, for one, you have the sheet metal that you need, and two, get it out of the box. Get your eyes on it, take a look at it, because these pieces of metal here they're like a roadmap. They're going to show you where you can and cannot cut. So here is our brand new roof skin, and you can see here if I can flip it up. This one here is just a nice good stamped piece of steel. We got our lips going all the way around where it welds inside of our drip barrel moldings. You can see the lip that comes up and over right there where it would meet our window frame. So that is a good piece to have. Make sure all that's there. Make sure you don't have any big dents or noticeable damage. Anything that's major. Little things you could probably expect because these things are just in a box. So, but that guy looks good. Now we move on to our inner structure here, and you can see there's a lot more going on with this guy. Here is our drip roll molding here. We got a couple little structure pieces here to tie all this together. You can see all this is tied together, this guy to this guy, giving all this nice strength. This is a big one right here because this is that upper corner, cab corner right there. So there's a lot that goes on right here. A lot gets tied into this area. This guy is going to support a lot. We got the pillar that goes all the way down here, the roof skin that goes up front. All this has to support our windshield. So this guy looks pretty good. We got our pocket back there for our little dome light. Now, one of the most important things on this whole piece here is the underside. We got our spots for our visors, but this is right here. You can see all these little pockets there. You can see this pocket there. You look on the bottom here where this guy sits in our drip rail on the roof skin, so you know that this underneath here, just remember all that. But also remember your pockets there, and remember how far our new metal goes into our old metal, and you can see all that. So we take what we've learned from those guys right there. We can come up here to our pocket where we're seeing all that metal that goes on right here. It kind of stops going straight across right here, and then also dives in a little bit into this stuff right here. And you can kind of see this guy right here where they've covered it up. A little bit of body work to cover up the seam that would be right here. Go ahead and open our door. You can see again right here some more of that body work or whatever right here. There should be another little seam, not in here. This is a whole different thing itself. So, but behind it would be the seam. And you can see here's this pocket that I was talking about. So here's our spot welds. We've got to drill all those spot welds out in order to remove our old sheet metal from this, because we are going to save this. We want to try not to damage this so much, but remember it is metal. You can see some of the rust that's kind of showing through in that corner now. But we want to save this, make sure this is all good. Same with that corner over there. Now you can see our back pocket, how it sits. So we know this guy here, this short piece, that stays. We do not remove that. It stays attached to this guy here. The only thing we are drilling out or going around is these spot welds right here. So we're going to need to get those out. We're going to have to clean some of this gunk off here and leave all this here. This is going to help us center and figure out where our new inner structure is going to go. So, like I said, take as many notes as you need. If you have to, go back and forth. Take pictures, so you can look at your picture, you can look at your old roof, you can look at a picture of your new roof. Take your time. Normally, if we were doing just roof scans and stuff like that, I would probably say something about bracing your towers or your pillars, your A pillar going across and all that. But this was crushed. So we've got the doors to line up pretty well where they were at. They're pretty good. There are still some inconsistencies because the roof was kicked forward a little bit. I did have to pull it back, things like that. So I'm not going to do so much bracing as of just getting our new inner structure in there, get it set up so I can get everything kind of pulled with come-alongs or tack welded, use some sheet metal screws, hammer to kind of get that back where it needs to go, get that tack welded into place before installing our new roof skin. But before all that, let's go ahead. I'm going to get you guys in the stand. Let's do a time lapse, because I'm going to go ahead and just plug into a cutoff wheel here, and we're going to cut the whole, go around and just cut the entire skin off the top. We'll get that guy out of the way so we can get in between our other metal there and see what we would have to use to kind of delicately remove the rest of our inner structure without damaging any of the metal we want to keep. So let's get you in that stand and let's get started on that time lapse. All right, roof skin is off, and by that little time lapse there, it actually only took me a little under 10 minutes to cut this off there. But I didn't follow any guidelines, just went around the top of it, just kind of took the skin off. That way it allows us to get inside, take a look at our inner structure, what exactly it is we're working with, try to get things cleaned up so we can locate all the spot welds and remove it without damaging the metal we are trying to keep. Now, take a look in here. All the areas we couldn't see, you can see there is a little bit of rust. Now, truthfully, it is not that bad. A lot of it's surface. This is probably starting to get a little bit cancerous, but there's no blisters or anything like that. All this stuff here probably could have been saved if we just sprayed a bunch of rust killer in there, or at least slowed it down. It lasted a little bit longer. Now if we climb up here to our inner structure, we're going to see a lot more rust. Now this is definitely a lot worse than our roof skin, and it did start to get in between here. This is actually kind of separating from when it got smushed, but you can see there is a little bit of rust, kind of blistering, kind of chunking there. It is starting to swell a little bit right here. Still not too bad. If we get down inside here, we can see it's starting to blister a little bit. So you get out, well, on our roof skin it was blistering a lot here, and a lot of that stuff does come from the inside, but this seems to be more external. So here's our front there where our little visor area would be. You can see it's starting to split just a little bit. The rust is a little more cancerous in here. Definitely see a lot of like splitting in here, a little more, like you can see it is kind of flaking a little bit. It's definitely a lot more rust here. Still probably could have been slowed down a lot with rust killer. I was actually expecting to find a lot worse up there, but that is okay. See, we kind of split. There's that part of that structure on our copilot side there. And if we get over here, here's that same structure we see right there on our new one. But this right here would have caused me an issue, because when it got crushed, it split and smashed this right here. So it wasn't really separating and pulling and straightening like it should have right here. This was a bad spot for it to get crushed, and this would have been really difficult. We probably would have had to cut into something to help strengthen and straighten and fix all of this. So, but our new inner structure has it, so I'm glad that's going to be replaced. Pretty bad kinking over there. Gonna evict these guys. Don't need them anymore. But so now you can see all the damage that went on in between, especially this piece we couldn't see. You can see how wrinkly and wadded up it is on the bottom where our drip row molding would have been, or the front of our little visor area over our windshield. Real bent up and squashed there as well. So definitely not a bad decision to cut into this thing and just replace the inner and outer structures, the outer skin and the inner structure. And now that this is all the way out of the way, we can get in with a wire wheel around the back side over there, like this little edge here where our inner structure is on the inside of our roof skin, where it welds to this guy right here, because we are keeping that spot, that part right there, this whole inner edge. So this whole bottom piece right here underneath this lip we are keeping. We're just getting rid of this guy right here. So now we can get in here though, get our wire wheel, find out where all our spot welds are at, get those drilled off so we can separate those two. Another wire wheel in here as well, clean out all of this seam seal, find our spot welds so we can get rid of the rest of our roof, get this cleaned up and ready for our new roof skin to be welded on. Got to rerun our wires for our dome light and maybe a speaker in the future. I don't know, but we got that all out of the way. So I'm just going to grab a wire wheel, get up here, start wire wheeling stuff, figuring out where our spot welds are at, where it is I need to drill, what it is I need to cut, so we can start getting this thing out of here. I'm going to put you guys in the stand, and we'll do another time lapse. So you guys saw there on the video, went ahead and cut out a couple of the big chunks out of this truck. That piece directly above our co-pilot door, the big section up from above our windshield, and of course this piece I'm standing right in the middle of our pilot side door, as you can see, is all gone. We were able to get in here, get all of this internal pieces out, all of that internal inner structure out of this post here, keeping the metal here in pretty decent shape. Doing the same up front as well. So now that we got all of that structure and everything out, you can see here's what we left over here. That's what's still left. We still need to get all of that out, cut that piece out there. But what I really want to show you guys is I like doing all that, getting all the big chunks out of the way, using your new sheet metal as our road maps, getting all of the big chunks out of the way and leaving yourself with the smallest pieces possible, or leaving yourself in a situation where you can use a cutoff wheel or a little sawzall or air saw or something that you can get inside these posts and cut little more chunks out, making it easier for you to remove, because you do not have to drill out all of the spot welds. I mean, a majority of them you will have to, especially in the structure areas, but like on roof skins and lips, or the metal lips or the edges that get welded, pinch welds, a lot of those break pretty easily. I'm going to show you here. So here's the little strips that I like to leave myself. This is part of our inner structure, this of course being part of our roof skin, and all you have to really do is just sit here and wiggle it. All of our welds will break, and it just leaves this little guy right here. You can come back with a little grinder or a little flap disc and clean all this up, get in here with a wire wheel. From this spot weld all the way over to where it was now, the roof skin wasn't even attached. So definitely got to do a little bit more cleanup here, which probably is a reason why there is a lot more rust in here where the water got in between the roof skin stuff. The seam seal was mostly gone, so water was getting in here, and that's probably why all this is rusted the way it is. But still in fairly decent shape. I am going to make sure to get in here and just hose this thing down with rust neutralizer or rust killer. So maybe shoot some sound deadener or something in there to help prevent anything else from popping up in the future. But see here, let me see. Let me grab my little vice grips here. So this little guy is attached. And that's all I do is just go ahead, grab some vice grips, attach it, just give her a little wiggle. I've also seen guys go through in between each one of these spot welds as well, grab a hold of the lip and do like a little twist. That works really well too. But you just heard it. So now that spot weld broke. Take your pliers, undo them, and just, I got them. Got to fix it. There we go. Yep. Go ahead, move your channel locks down. Get rid of that piece. Grab a hold of the next guy, bend it up. And just keep working your way down. Boom. So, it just, as you see here, it just leaves these little nubs right here. You come back, definitely a quick little cleanup with the flap disc. Hit it with a wire wheel, hit it with some rust killer, spray it with some weld through primer, and these guys here will be pretty much ready to set our new structure down, get everything tack welded into place, get it all cleaned up and ready to put our roof skin on. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera down. That's all I'm gonna do, just keep working on these little guys here. We'll get them off. I'll get that little structure piece out of the way as well, and I'll bring you guys back once this is all cleaned up and ready to sit our new inner structure on. All right, we got all the extra metal cut off. I went ahead and gone over everything with a wire wheel. a flap disc and a little 3-inch flap disc and a little wire brush. Got a lot of the big rust chunks cleared out. Here you can see what it looks like. There is a little bit in there, but I'm going through and I'm spraying this stuff here. I know I've showed this on when we did the floors in corn cob and a bunch of other stuff. I like this stuff. Go ahead and just really, let's see here. Let me get on this side. You can see where I stopped. And I just really like lay it in there just to make sure it coats. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this side from out here, stand on the bed. Then I'll get up back inside, come back around and hit the other side of the back of our truck window, our window frame here. Make sure I get lots of this stuff in here. I want it to run down the pillars, see if we can't coat and kill and stop and slow down as much rust as possible. Kind of hope that this thing holds on for a few more years. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, get everything, all this stuff recoated. We'll let it sit overnight, let it do its job. Then I'll be back tomorrow with some zinc weld through primer. We'll go ahead and just double check, make sure we got everything. Hit it again with this if we need to, but for the most part, clean up some of the areas where we need to weld. Hit it with some weld through primer. Set in our inner structure, see if we can't get it moved around. Get our doors and our drip rail moldings and everything put in place. And get to starting to weld this roof back together. So I'm gonna get all this, finish getting all this stuff sprayed, and we'll be back. Good morning. As you saw last night, we got everything sprayed with our rust killer / converter. Let it sit overnight till this morning. I got up early-ish. Came out. We did go ahead. I punched a few holes in our inner structure of our roof. Came out here, cleaned up this area, wiped it all down, and hit it with some cold galv. Kind of like it's a zinc-rich coating. Helps with corrosion. It's helps protect against corrosion. Plus you can weld through it because it's really full of zinc. But before I get all of this coated, I wanted to show you here up on this front post. You look in here, you can see all the black. Now if you remember from last night, most of that was red. Now the black means that stuff is worked. It has converted the rust into this guy here. It has neutralized it, so it'll help slow it down, stop it, and then I go over it with this stuff right here and will help protect it the rest of the way. If you look down in there as well, you can see there is a lot more black. Kind of. It's there. We have done our best to stop and slow down the rust in this structure up here. So go ahead and just kind of get our doors open, get all this stuff blown off. So we can get our inner structure put up here and get it in place. Alright, got the truck in the shop. Our upper structure, our inner structure is now finally attached, or it's not fully attached. I've got a couple of sheet metal screws on the back side, a couple of sheet metal screws up here on the pilot side pillar, a couple there. This back corner does have a couple of tack welds in it. What I like to do, or what I'm going to be doing at this point now, is just I'm going to go over all these corners, make sure they're where I want it now, and get those tack welded into place, get them cleaned up. But that is it. I'm going to get that there to kind of help ensure that this inner structure, or this roof structure, doesn't move on me. And just a little warning too, if you are ever attempting to pull your truck into your shop, your garage, and cut the roof off it and replace it, and you expect the sheet metal to go right back on and line up, no. Aftermarket sheet metal, which is what I bought, does not fit the greatest. And heck, even factory stamped or sheet metal that you buy doesn't fit as well as the original, especially after a truck has had its roof crushed. So it's actually probably 6 o'clock in the evening since you got, it's been a few hours since you saw that little time lapse on there, because we have had to move a lot of things around. These doors had to be moved. If you ever wonder, it's a lot like the doors on corn cob. They got these big old hinges right here. I have to order new hinge hardware for this guy. I'm just gonna go ahead and get it all for the whole truck. These are like carriage bolts. They're flat here. They've got the little square end on them to go in. This hinge keeps them from moving, and you tighten the nuts on the backside. And on the very inside there, if you guys can see it, there's another nut there that has to be tightened. That also helps with moving all these things in and out. Now you can adjust side to side play with these hinges right here. So we did have to play with that a little bit. I have some body shims in here I'm going to be removing once I get everything set where I want it, because then I can pull this thing apart, get everything cleaned up, and get this working the way it's supposed to, because the in and out is all done right here. You got up, down, in, out. You've got a lot of different, a huge range of motion on these hinges here. So we will be doing that. I just kind of cheated a little bit by putting a couple body shims in there to help me with lining our door up. Now, here is our co-pilot side. Our roof line, or our drip rail molding, lines up to the top of the door pretty well. Don't be alarmed with aftermarket or other sheet metal when you buy it. This is exceptionally large. You just mark it off with like some 1/4 inch fine line or 1/8 inch tape. Go around the edge, find out what you want, cut the excess off. No big deal. But you can see our top of the door fits pretty good. Our post now fits this post pretty good, going all the way around. Now this door, this fender, it can be moved a little bit. This fender can actually go in this way by adjusting a bolt that's in here. This top piece here can actually go that way, which can be moved by a couple other bolts in this area as well. So I know I have the room to move all this, so I'm not too concerned about that guy right there. But the door to the cowl panel, we wanted. Door to our cab, wanted to be consistent, about as consistent as it can be. And of course our gap from the rocker and the bottom of the door as well. Now this side fits pretty well, opens and closes just like it should. Actually, it closes a lot better than it did before it had its roof caved in. So, but we managed to get that taken care of. I am going to order some new strikers for this truck. Needs them on both sides. This side could probably use a new latch. It's a little worn out. What else? I had to loosen up the cab bolts actually and fix. You guys watched the corncob video where we replaced the floors in corncob because they were so rotted out. And when we did replace the floors, if you guys remember that this truck has a nice, it's got a cross member. It gets all tied into right here, comes up, goes under the floor. This bolt goes through it and it runs across this entire seam right here. Well, both sides of the truck were up. So the front of the cab was down, which does wonders for fender gaps, let me tell you. So we unbolted that, managed to get those forced back down. I even got up underneath the truck and added a couple of front mounts for these guys, and they're just some cheap eBay polyurethane mounts. I think I paid 80 bucks for the kit. If I remember, I'll go ahead and just add those in the description of this video. Had to take the little striker out of this side because this side seemed to have gotten a lot worse. If you remember when we first tried to straighten the hood out on this thing, I broke this post right here. It started breaking on me because of it was under a lot of tension, and I had a lot of rust up in the other cab corner inner structure of our roof, and all this just kind of broke. So I have both. I just have it kind of vice grip together so I can start playing with all of these angles and getting this pillar back to where it needs to go. Also it broke all of these welds here when the roof got crushed. So all these are gonna have to be, I'm gonna go ahead with a little drill and just kind of drill out a couple spots there. Make sure to weld all this back in. Clean this area up as well, because this also was broke. And you can see in here, a lot of these broke. So this pillar actually took a lot of damage when it got crushed, but we were able to work a lot of it out. Most of it's about sitting where it needs to be. And if you look, our roof line is pretty consistent. Door gap to cab is also pretty consistent. We've got our gap at the bottom here is also pretty consistent. And on this side, our fender to our cowl and our front pillar all seems to be coming back around. And it's, just take your time with it. Move some things around. Ratchet straps can be your friend as well. Take it to a corner of the bed, wrap it around a post. You can kind of maneuver things around a little bit when you're installing your upper structure or sheet metal. Kind of put it underneath a little bit of tension before you shoot a tech screw in there. And all that is going to help hold it together. So, but let's see. Go ahead and climb up on top, or I'll give you the inside view. All this stuff is actually now hammered back into place. We'll get this welded, get our seam seal and everything back in here. Should pretty much take care of all that. Still got to hammer this side back flat to pinch our upper structure, but it does have a bunch of tech screws holding it on in the back. So it's actually pretty solid to the truck. So now what I'm going to do is just go around, make sure I get all these corners tack welded into place, so I can remove some of the screws I don't need, and then I'll get our roof skin sat up in place, and I'll bring you guys back and show you exactly what that looks like. Inner structure has been finished welded. Everything has been welded up, cleaned up where it needed to be. We sprayed all of the other joints with some more zinc primer. I did end up coating the upper part of our structure with with the bed liner, the stuff you guys, I say all the time I like using because it's a hard rubber. I'm hoping this will help keep a lot of moisture away from that panel and kind of help act as some kind of sound deadener as well. So the whole top side of that inner structure has been coated in that stuff. All our other pinch welds cleaned up, more zinc primer added, got our roof skin fitted, and I've got our whole front welded up. You saw there on the video, I did bounce from spot to spot to spot. I just kept moving around. Kind of helps with keeping the heat down, prevent warping that panel. Managed to get up there and dress all of our welds up front here too with a flap disc. Now I do have to hit this with some self-etching primer to kind of help protect it, and do maybe some kind of little skim coat or something to help fill in any of the little imperfections. We got this side here, you saw on the video, we used a cutoff wheel. Now you can see that little lip right there, because this panel here is made to slip fit our factory panel, or our factory pillar here. So we did a little bit of cutting and shaping to get it to slide in, get this to come down to meet our new pinch weld for our inner structure. Got this all the way welded up. And if you've done anything like this before or seen anybody, you know this whole area right here is usually filled with lead. So I just went ahead, filled everything up with weld, kind of built up some of our corners so I can knock it down with a flap disc, and we'll do a little bit of kind of like body filler or something in this corner. A lot of hammering and banging, a little bit of heat went into this corner, but it does feel pretty good. So most of our body work should just be right in this area. Also gone ahead and drilled out all of the old spot welds. Here I hit to repair this pillar. If you remember, this was all busted up. It was kind of flared open at the start of this whole project. Got down here as well. So all of that has been drilled out, re-welded. These spot welds were drilled out and re-welded, and so everything is attached. Both drip rail moldings have also been welded in place. Now the only thing I have to do on the inside is weld up the spot welds on each one of those corners. But I want to wait on that right now because I want to get all of our furniture out of there, get the chair out, get probably the steering wheel, some other pieces out as well, so I can strip the floor. I want to strip some of the inner panels as well, get everything welded up, get all the body work done, and get everything prepped so when I'm done with all of this stuff here, I can get the body work done, and I'll get all the inside that's been worked and all of the outside that's been worked, get it prepped and painted back to our, I want to say this is like PBG red. It's a single stage paint. Maybe I can find something similar to kind of keep the whole big red thing going, but not change too much of the truck, because you can see here, I still got a lot more work to do on some of our lower panels. We got some holes to patch in the hood. Got some body work to do here where this was crushed by the same carport that crushed our roof. Got a big dent in the door. The bed's a slightly different color. But most of the body work, things like that, I'll change somewhere down the road, 10, 15 years from now, right? I want this to be a running, driving project. I am in the process of paperwork right now. We're trying to get the paperwork so we can get a title for this thing, get it registered and back on the road. So, hoping to have all of this stuff done, get it all painted and everything, get the glass put back in it. Everything seems still protected from the weather. So, but, okay, enough blabbing. Let me show you what I got. So here is our co-pilot side. Here's the drip roll molding, gone all the way down. Our pinch welds are nice and tight. All of these guys here have been welded to the point where I could probably just barely hit it with a grinding disc, and that should leave me enough room to fill this entire channel with seam seal, completely sealing off both of these panels. And I've come all the way back to this point here, and now I've got about 10 miles of welding up to this point. Now, everywhere underneath all of these holes have been prepped with zinc weld through primer. But I want to show you guys what I've been using to get this black primer off, this black coating that comes on these panels. And that's just basically a wire wheel on an electric drill. Hit it there. You can see it does a really, really good job of getting that black coating off, and does not introduce a lot of heat into the panel, helping keeping the chance of it warping, keeping that very, very low. And now I can grab one of a screwdriver and just keep working my way. I've been going along, tapping this down, welding each one of these spot weld holes. Same here, pushing it down towards our factory roof, pushing that guy down, pushing that guy down. and just slowly working my way across. But on a panel this big, you want to bounce from, like, say here, go to here, back over there, bounce back and forth on this panel right here, because there is a really good chance if you just kept going this way, you would produce a lot of heat, and this thing would eventually be really rippled by the time you got finished welding. So make sure you bounce back and forth. Another thing I like to keep on me too is you can use an air hose or the air blower, or a little bit of water on a rag. Don't soak it, like, just get like this where it's nice and kind of cool to the touch. And then you can do this. Just kind of wipe the panel a little bit, slowly cooling it down. And that'll help keep everything nice and tight. So, I'm gonna go ahead now, get you guys back in our stand, get a quick time lapse of this, get a quick time lapse of finishing up the backside of our roof stand. Roof is all welded up. We have welded it completely all the way around. We are now going to top our welds off with some self-etching primer. And I'm using self-etching primer because it is designed to stick to bare metal. And I'm not going to be shy with it. I'm going to let it get in there. Maybe a little runny. Help get down in between some of our little crack, our little lip right there. Really shouldn't hurt anything. Drip rails have already been done. Our upper windshield area has already been coated with self-etching primer as well. Give this stuff, give our welds, give our sheet metal a little more protection to the elements. Now, this thing is far from done. I still have to go back through, dress all our welds. As you can see, we got them, they're sticking up just a little bit. Need to go through, knock some of the high spots down, and get some seam seal to go in here to seal off our skin to our structure, our lower roof here. Fill in any of those little gaps and any other imperfections to help keep water and moisture out from between our metals. Now, we've done the best we could before welding this all together. We've prepped our metal. We shot it with some zinc primer to give the panels, that area in between the two panels, some more protection. We've welded it. Now we've got self-etching primer on top. I've coated the inner structure with kind of a rubberized bed liner to help lock out some of that moisture and hopefully work as kind of a sound deadener as well. But we have done what I had set out to do on this video, is get our old roof cut off, kind of get some of the metal prepped. We shot it with some rust killer, rust treater to help stop / slow down any more rust that is happening in between these panels. Really laid it on thick, let it run down these are both front and rear pillars. Also coated all that with some more rubberized bed coating to help lock out the moisture and help with some sound deadening properties as well. So all that's done. Got our inner structure welded into place. Got our roof skin cut and fit into place as well. And that is where I am going to stop this video. So I hope this helps some of you guys out. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't want anybody out there thinking I'm a professional at any of this. But I do know a little bit to get myself into trouble and hopefully get myself out of trouble if I get myself into trouble, if you know what I mean. So, all I gotta say is take your time. Aftermarket sheet metal isn't stamped the way factory sheet metal is, and it doesn't fit as well as the original. So don't be afraid to get in there, do a little bit of cuts, move some things around. You're gonna figure out other areas of your vehicle as well that need to be moved. Like I found out my floors needed to be, or our cross members needed to be pushed back into place. And I replaced our front cab mounts to help level the cab out, which made lining the sheet metal up much, much easier. Also found some other little problem areas. Our posts need to be fixed. My door hinges need to be fixed as well. They're a little sloppy. I need to get hardware for that as well. But, you know, take your time. We're getting this thing into a position where I can get some of the body work done on the roof, get the areas painted, get some glass in this thing, and drive it. Because that's what I want. It'd be a running and driving project. Because let's face it, we all don't have we all don't have a lot of time, I should say, or the amount of time it would take to do one of these in one sitting. We want to enjoy it. And if we don't get it out on the road and enjoy it while we're working on it, then a lot of times people lose interest, and that's how we end up with certain vehicles that are just left in fields and abandoned, not being driven, picked up by other people. I'm rambling. But anyways, you guys, I hope hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this helps some of you guys out. Hope this encourages you to get out there, work on your projects, right? Make it, learn something. So, thank you guys again for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Give a guy a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll catch you on the next one.